Lives, lives, lives. I seem to do more lives than I really wish to. But the fight is real. It comes on again and again and again. I'm just going to change angle a bit because when comments start as people log on, it always gets messy. People like to see you address the issues, talk, and that's what I'm going to do. I know it takes time for everybody to log on. People who miss my videos, you have to wait a number of hours. I'm in Canada. In Canada here, the reality is I am screened for every single video I do. I have to be very careful what music I play, what is said. If I say a lie, I can kiss my entire account goodbye. But I never stray, and I'm very careful, articulate. I wait to pronounce on the bullshit that's presented each and every day. A number of days ago, I hit the Islamic community and the propaganda of Islamists. Al-Mizan, trying to say, hey, we interpret the Quran. We can interpret the world. But they're wrong. They're dead wrong. And now today, in a huge following, a very, very popular video, we have Christians, black Christians, African Americans, going forth, spreading their version of what they see, standing on the side of Russia to a degree, renouncing Trump, Biden, blaming the white man, apparently taking the side of the first peoples in North America. But they don't do that. They don't even tell the truth. And they propagate holding the Bible in their hand. They propagate more lies, no different than the Muslims on the radical side of Islam. This is the radical side of Christianity again. I stand with no fear. I have no fear to ever stand against lies, mistruths, and what would be bad for Americans, Canadians specifically. I get into this because the American Indian is the Canadian Indian. They are one peoples. And when we talk about North America, this North American Free Trade Agreement, Canada, Mexico, United States of America. Don't you ever, any American, I don't care in what righteousness you put forward, when you hold the Bible and you say, listen, we know how this is interpreted, we know how it's going to go, and then you commit to a bold-faced lie in the name of God, whether that's a version from Islam or today from a Christianity-based religious view. We're going to stop all tracks dead in their footing. Mexico. What is Mexico? Spanish colonialism. You're completely undone. And just to put it in perspective, if anyone hasn't read my paper, backed up by the greatest minds all over the world, greatest research and writings, truthful non-fictions from every part of the globe, including, ladies and gentlemen, 26 African colonized nations today. I have the best of the best, every publication. So I'm sorry for the African American inside a Christian religion trying to propagate, but you're wrong. You're dead wrong when you put the narrative of Mexico forward, wiping out all Spanish colonization. You do the greatest disservice to the American Indian, those of the Aztecs who exist today in a mountain range way down south. And folks, out of what was South America all the way to Central America, onto the United States today are the Ute people who hold all the history that African Americans, regardless of time and coming to America and the grotesque way in slavery which you were brought here, you have lost all credibility the second that you announce Mexico as sanctioned and viable, but America bad. You are propagating lies. Lies. Lies that, according to your book, don't make you any way, shape, or form of the Bible of God. I am sorry. I am sorry, but that is clear reality. Spanish colonialism, huge, huge, evil. Everything the Quran and the Bible renounce, the Spanish, Portuguese, and all narratives that led to Mexico is created out of that. Nothing of the first peoples were ever accountable for by any, and I mean any, of the colonials. So cut the crap. You don't have a leg to stand on. Mexico has no leg to stand on. The independence of America is the fight against colonials. Let me tell all African Americans alive and well today, whatever book you wish to hold up, you want to hold up the Quran, you want to hold up the Christian Bible, and you want to talk fact and reality and statements. Statements because it's easy or it's popular and it's against white folks. At whose expense? Because to me, it's clearly at the American Indians' expense, and which would ultimately lead to the Canadian Indians' expense. One peoples that have nothing to do with any Spanish narrative of peoples, French, English, the atrocities committed by those countries and leaving a mixed people, largely through rape, folks. I'm sorry. There's even more brutal history than I even care to share. And I would probably be deplatformed if I attempted to write about it as just a white Canadian. It's too bad I wasn't African descendancy. I could write all about it and I would probably be well received. But I don't have the right skin color. And I'm not going to do it because it is atrocious. Many First Peoples here in North America would sure love for me to write the full account. And in time, we're going to see what comes out of the French and Spanish side. There's a huge history there, 150 years missing from the rosters. But its authenticity is there. It's true, it's credible, viable. Anyone slamming the United States of America, I'm going to tell you this, especially for the First Peoples, absolutely all American Indians, all Canadian Indians, the Métis Inuit. There's a truth here that nobody likes to share with you. A truth of many colonials who destroyed your peoples entirely. USA fought all of those colonials. When you look at the northern states and residential school genocide, that all poured out from Canada and what was called British Quebec. That's the history. That's left out. You won't see in American black pastors, African American pastors talking about that very real history, nor will they roll back the clock from South to Central to North America and the travesties done by the Spanish through rape, pillage, plunder, and absolute murder. All the men killed, all the women brutally raped. I am sorry, but that is your Mexican. I'm sorry. And there's a good traceable amount of information available for all the Métis. It didn't always go that way, but that's how it absolutely began. Both sides. Look at French and Spanish history. When we start lying about the brutality of the colonial empires, when we lie to gain a narrative or a perceived upper hand, it's all crown colonial. It's all evil. The evilest the world has ever been in history. First Peoples, don't let other people take your narratives. Don't let people write histories just because it favors their interpretation, because they're looking for their piece of the pie. I am sorry for slavery, heavily vested in the southern states, brought forward by the Spanish. All those areas talked about, all the way up to Caledonia in Vancouver, which is lost on the average African American religious leader. We don't want to talk about those histories. That's not popular. The truth doesn't help your narrative. Southern states, Spanish slavery, Portuguese slavery, first creators of it, bringing it forward. Yes, America implemented it. Each state had their constitutions first before there was an America. America worked as a federalism to eradicate all of it. They fought war after war after war against colonials. There is a history in civics here that must be brought, especially not just to the American Indian, but also where the American Indian can go from here. There's so much left work to do. America is not the monster it's always painted out to be. Has it done atrocities over the years? Sure. All countries in the world have. But America and its design, its constitution, that remains going strong. And you'll see the best the African people have ever seen has actually come from America. America. And yes, China, and yes, Russia, the UNSCP5, they've done tremendous things. Africa gets stronger all the time. They're growing at a faster rate than everybody else. But how is the African America growing inside their religions and inside their narratives? Doesn't look too good at all. Doesn't look too good at all when you start fabricating to create a new reality. Not good. I will debate any African American spiritual advisor, Islamic, the Al-Mazan, those who claim to know the Quran inside and out and can attest to how the world works. I will debate you all day long. And now it goes out to those professing in Christianity, in their narratives, and now they say international law. I will debate and defeat you all day long on real world international laws it's developed over the years, as well as real credible history you can't deny. I'm sorry, it's terrible, folks, that this goes on. You don't see these people for lying, clearly lying about history. Northern states, carryovers from the British Empire, implemented residential school genocide. All you have to look is the new American states as they were in residential school genocide. You will find they were all part of British Quebec. Sorry that hurts feelings and that doesn't go with the radical Christian view from African Americans in America today. It's fun, I guess, to look at southern states and ignore the whole Spanish portion and Portuguese portion of what was inherited, or the French portion, or absolutely the British portion. You will find the greatest achievements in civil rights were done by the United States of America under the Constitution of the United States of America. Anything else falls into colonial superpowers who committed atrocious genocides and absolutely brought forward the slave trade. It is colonials. All of them. All of them. This goes from white all the way across many nationalities. Latinos, I'm sorry, you don't escape real history. Neither does Rome and all the history preceding it of all nations. China has an immense amount of imperial history, record keeping. They can show you all of it, as they were the first to experience Latina child sex trafficking and absolute slavery. And it was all brought to the New World, all by colonials. Mexico? How do the first peoples, the American Indian and the Canadian Indian, feel about that narrative? Not good at all. I can also tell you the Treaty of USA and Canada to allow people of those cultures to pass unabated. No rules of travel. Enjoy your historical lands. Mexico? I don't think so. This is the truth, the real truth. I will take on anyone, anytime, in any place. That's the challenge put out to you. Anyone using the name of God to propagate a fake scenario in a fake history, telling who is deemed good, who is deemed bad, when that's clearly, unimaginably, and 100% not the truth. It's a shame, because that pastor, when you go back to Africa, the 52 nations of Africa today, the Pan-Africa Union, I can guarantee you all of those experts, half of which are with me, will tell you that those narratives are 100% a lie. They're not ashamed to tell you that history. I may not be black. I don't see how that matters. The truth is the truth. And it doesn't matter what color you are. When you lie, you lie. When you do it in the name of any god, I believe that to be worse. Fooling people, telling many a false sense of what is reality. A great disservice to all the First Peoples inside North America. A one peoples divided out 5 different times, under different time periods. America has made amends, more amends than anywhere else in the entire world. In the entire world, America has made the most amends. Canada's made literally none. We don't even treat the First Peoples as human beings. Not the same for America. A nation within a nation. Now, if there are the African Americans groups that wish to get together and have a discussion about slavery, we can do that. We can do that all day long. We can even talk in international law. But creating fake histories or assigning rights to countries who are built out of colonialism is absolutely counter not only to African Americans, those victims of the slave trade, but it's a complete violation of the First Peoples of North America, a one peoples. Thank you. That's my video. Share. And let's just see who will come forward and who would like to do a debate. I know Muslims don't seem to be attached to those radical narratives, and we'll see. Are African American Christians loyal to these philosophies and beliefs in the name of God? Are they going to step up to the plate? I know I'm not afraid. I believe in God, and I believe in the truth. And we'll see what truth comes from where. Thank you. That's my video. Thank the Creator. Bye now.